Hey, it's Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. So I know that I still need to review December's book club pick, which was Nosferatu by Joe Hill. But I just finished Be Ready When the Luck Happens by Garten, her memoir. I said that weird. And I have to return it to the library, so I thought I would talk about that before I had to return it. And it's like fresh in my head, and I have a little rant that I need to get off my chest about it. And so I figured I would just get that out of the way. Yeah, so spoiler alert, I absolutely loved this so much. I am not a nonfiction memoir autobiography reader at all. I am a horror thriller mystery girl. I don't really particularly enjoy nonfiction, but I love Ina. I have loved her since her very, very early days on Food Network, her very first show on there, her Barefoot Contessa show, back in like the early 2000s. I'm like, who is this fabulous woman living in the Hamptons, riding in her convertible to go to the specialty store and have these beautiful dinner parties with her fabulous friends? I loved every single minute of it. And I didn't know anything about her life. I just kind of thought that that was her life, that she had, either grown up in the Hamptons or had built, had lived there her whole life, or I don't know, that she just had businesses there. I don't know. I just thought that that was her. I was wrong. I was making assumptions. She has had an incredible life, and I made the mistake of reading reviews. Oh, first of all, it's got good reviews on Goodreads. It's like a 4 point something on Goodreads. But first of all, should we be rating memoirs? I do rate them. I usually will rate them 5 stars because it's like they're telling their story. It's hard to rate someone's like life. You're rating their life. So when someone's rating someone's memoir like a 3, I'm just like, what are you complaining about? Like, this is their life. Well, I read some of the bad reviews, and they were talking about how privileged she was and the name dropping in her book, and how she always had like her husband's money to fall back on, and her this and her that. And I'm like, whoa. Let's take a chill pill here. First of all, the name dropping. She's a celebrity. She's gonna know people. So let's, okay. Like, I love when celebrities name drop in their memoirs. I want to know who you're hanging out with. I want to know who you've met. I want to know who came into your specialty store in the Hamptons and ordered a sandwich. Like, I want to know all of those things. I want to know how it was working with Emily Blunt and Taylor Swift. She's a Swiftie. Love that. Like, I want to know those things. Name dropping. Get out of here. She's a celebrity, okay? That just, bugged me. Second of all, was there some sort of privilege here and some, what's the word I'm looking for? Was she a little out of touch? She is a rich billionaire, maybe not billionaire, millionaire white woman who lives in the Hamptons and has a second home in Paris. Yes, she is very privileged and can be a little out of touch, okay? Her whole thing is about using specialty, the best ingredients. Like, come on, you guys. Let's, The thing that really bothered me, though, was the whole thing about how she always had her husband's money or her parents' money to fall back on. Yes, she grew up in a, upper class. Her father was a doctor, blah, blah, blah. She had a horrible childhood. So I can guarantee you that she would have traded in all of that money and, quote unquote, how their life looked from the outside for an ounce of love and admiration and respect and anything from her parents. You know what I mean? Just because she received financial support, like, yeah, okay. You know, that doesn't mean that she did not put in the work herself. Same with her husband. And she never made it seem like if this didn't work out, at least I had Jeffrey's money. At least Jeffrey had a job. There was one point in the book where she did kind of make that clear that like Jeffrey got this job, so I felt okay making this business deal. I think it was when she was buying their second house in Paris, which that was a whole beautiful thing. Like, I'm making it sound very like second house in Paris. It was beautiful. And they wanted to do renovations. And then he got this other job and she was like, okay, we can do it. Which there's nothing wrong with that. Someone even made a comment saying like, moral of the story is as long as you have some guy that worships the ground you walk on and you can do whatever. It's like, okay, and like, that's an amazing thing. Like, oh my God, she has this amazing man in her life that supports her, has supported her through everything. Like, Jesus, these reviews were just like out of control. And I think it's just so crappy that these people had reduced her down to, oh, I'm sorry, I shook the camera. The men in her life supporting her, and instead of what she accomplished herself. So yes, did she have a leg up on other people because of her upbringing and because of being able to go to college, business school, whatever? Did she have a leg up on? Yes, she did. I don't think she would deny that. She did. There's no denying that. I'm not denying that. But even if someone had a leg up on someone else, you still have to put in the work. You still have to go through school. You still have to be the one that is doing all of this. She did not have to go to business school. She didn't have to work at the White House. She worked for 2 presidents at the White House and then decided to totally flip her life upside down and buy a business that she knew nothing about. She has no culinary training whatsoever, bought that specialty food store, the Barefoot Contessa, had no idea what she's doing, dropped her very well-paying job for that, working 21 hours a day. So yeah, she maybe had a cushion to fall back on as far as money goes, but she didn't have to make that leap. She did that herself. She put in the work. So it's really crappy to deduce her down to the men in her life saving her when she was the one that was doing all of this work. She did that. No one else did the work for her. She did all of this herself. I just think that was really crappy. She has worked her butt off her entire life to get where she is. Did she have help along the way? Did she have a leg up? Of course she did. She is a white woman in America, like that grew up, you know, an upper class citizen. Like, of course she did. There's no denying that. But again, to deduce her down to the men in her life helping her, she did that. She did that. She did the work to get where she is today. Just reading this made me exhausted, because if I were in her same shoes and had the quote unquote opportunities that she had, I wouldn't have done half the stuff that she did. Like, I just wouldn't have. You know, there was a point in her book where she's like, if the cook or the baker wasn't able to show up, she would have to get up at 2 a.m. or whatever and bake thousands of baguettes for the bakery that day, plus on top of whatever else she had to do. That's just one of the things that came to mind. So, and she was literally working 21-hour days when she owned the Barefoot Contessa. And then on top of that, she bought another business, which was more of a specialty food store, like a fancier specialty food store. And she had 2 businesses going. The Barefoot Contessa was just summertime, and the other one was all year round. So she had 2 of them. Plus, she details her whole life with Jeffrey. Sorry, this is kind of spoilery, I guess. I'm sorry. And their whole relationship. And at one point, they separated. She went into detail talking about how Jeffrey was not, he grew up very much, his dad was in the army, so his mom had very much a womanly role in the family, and he was kind of expecting that from her, and she was very much not wanting that life. She got very restless and could not just be at home doing nothing. She loved to work and to always be doing something. And she wanted more than that. And he was having a really hard time with that and was having a hard time seeing it from her perspective. And she needed a break. And they separated for a while. It was really sad to read that. And obviously they got back together and it was a whole thing. But it was really sad to read that part. But then when they got back together, he just said, like, what do you need from me? Like, what do you need? And she's like, the only way that this will work is if you go to therapy. And he's like, done. And she's like, no, because the only thing you can do is if you go like tomorrow. And he goes, done. And he literally did. He went the next day and he totally changed. And he just seems like the best partner. They are so, the way that she talks about him is just so sweet. I think she said they were, I should try and find it. I think they've been together for like 56 years. Do you think that's right? The past 60 years there has been Jeffrey. So maybe they've been together for 56 years. I mean, married. She did say, now I can't remember where it said, but it was just beautiful. Yeah, the last paragraph in her book is just about him. Why can't I find it? It doesn't matter. They've been together a long time. 50, that doesn't sound right though. But anyway, they've been together a long time. And it just, they have been through so much, living a lot of their life apart, but always making time for each other, no matter if he was living in literally Tokyo and she was in the Hamptons, making time for each other and making it a priority. Because they're both very career focused. But yeah, she worked for President Ford and President Carter, I believe. Working on like nuclear budgets. She is a very smart woman, but has had no culinary training. So it was just so interesting to see her get involved with that and interested in that aspect. And growing up, her mother was not a horrible cook, but she just never made anything good. Everything was so bland. And her father was emotionally and physically abusive. Her and her brother, it was so sad reading about her childhood. One thing that stuck out to me was she said that her and her brother don't remember ever going into each other's rooms. Isn't that so sad? Like she said they never really interacted as like siblings, like playing together. She said, like, we never really had toys. Everything was about academics and learning and school. It's just so sad. Like, she had a horrible childhood. She did say at the end of her father's life that they did kind of make amends, and he did, I guess, kind of tell her like how bad he felt about the way he treated her. But her mom never did. She said that she was too, I can't remember how she worded it, but she was just never able to get over her own issues. And that is just so sad to me. And that was a big reason why her and Jeffrey never wanting kids, was she was so worried about turning into her mother. And then eventually they thought that maybe they'd want to, but then they were both so focused on their careers that they just didn't see it in the cards for them. But her brother did eventually adopt at least one child. So he did have a child. But, oh, this book was just so, I just thought it was so much fun to read. She's so funny. Like, you could totally hear everything in her voice. She did say, like, how fun is that? Or, like, how whatever is that? Like, all the time, which was so funny. Yeah, she's really funny. I thought she wrote really well. Yeah, and people, like, the name dropping and, like, going into detail about this and that. I loved all the detail. And then they were complaining about going into detail about food. I'm like, that's literally her life. Like, hello, do you not know, like, what did you think you were gonna read? Like, I loved all of that. I just literally ate that up. Pardon the pun, but I loved it. I don't know. Those reviews were really getting under my skin. Obviously, you are entitled to your own opinion, but the part about, oh, being able to fall back on your husband or whatever. First of all, okay, and, like, what's wrong with that? Like, that's your partner. Like, he was always so supportive of her no matter what she did. So, okay, he was there to pick up the pieces, but she never, like, felt that way. She always did things for herself. It was never like, well, if this doesn't work, at least Jeffrey's there to pick up the pieces. Like, she was always like, this is my doing, this is my choice. Even though, of course, she would consult him. Like, she valued his opinion. Obviously, they were partners, but in everything. But that just really upset me, because if this was turned around and if it was a man making these decisions, people would just be praising him and being like, look at him going after what he wanted. Didn't matter what it cost or what it cost him or whatever, you know what I mean? But it's a woman, so of course we have to deduce her down to whatever. Ugh, whatever. That just made me mad. So anyway, that was my rant and my review of Be Ready When the Luck Happens by Ina Garten. I highly recommend this. If you, if you want a good, interesting memoir about a woman that you think you know, because I really just thought it was this rich woman from the Hamptons who had these fabulous dinner parties with these fabulous, like, gay men all the time, and which, yes, that is her, but she's so much more than that, and I think she had a lot of interesting things to say, and I think you'd be very surprised about some of the things that she's done, and hopefully you don't care about a little name dropping. I always think it's fun, and again, she's a celebrity, so of course she's met celebrities, and she's gonna talk about them. Like, does that bug y'all in a celebrity memoir when they talk about celebrities? I also didn't think it was that, like, over the top. Some of these people I didn't even know who she was talking about, like art directors she's worked with or producers, or I'm like, okay, who cares? Like, she's just talking about people she worked with, like colleagues, whatever. Okay. I'm getting too passionate about a memoir. It's not that big of a deal, but some of those comments were just, people are doing too much in their reviews. I thought it was beautiful and I loved it. And I have 2 5 stars to start off the new year. How fantastic. This one and TJ Klune's Somewhere Beyond the Sea, which I need to review that one, you guys. Oh man, that's going to be another whole rant. I don't even know if I can do that one. Do you want a review of that one or not? Because I feel like I'm going to go off the rails with that. I don't know, you guys. I might not do that one. Anyway, that's also a sequel, so that's going to have so many spoilers, I feel like. But let me know. I am still going to review Nosferatu because that was a book club pick. But that's going to need a moment because that one was, first of all, it was like 700 pages. Second of all, it was crazy and I need to like a little refresh of it. But, oh, I will just say quick, our book club pick for January is Influencer by Adam Cesar. If you would like to read it with us, I'm going to start it probably today. I'm super excited. I hate this copy. It's like really stiff. Like I'm the first person to read it. But I'm really excited to read this one. Yeah, explores the dark side of social media and the cult of personalities that flourish there as Crystal and her friends navigate their own fears about friendship and popularity, culminating in an epic battle of wills that will leave readers breathless. Sounds so fun. I'm so excited to read this. So if you would like to read along with us, you can. You don't have to be part of a book club if that's what we're reading. You can find my book club at Fable, the TBR and DNF book club. I will link that down below. Okay, if you have any thoughts about this memoir, leave them down below. Let me know what you thought of it, if you plan on reading it. I know not everyone is a nonfiction biography memoir reader. I'm not, but I do recommend this one. It was a fun one. Yeah, leave a comment down below. Give this video a like if you did like it. Subscribe if you're not already. I'd love to have you. And I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.